Hi, boys and girls, it's Mrs. Yevik. And this week for English Language Arts, we're going to work on comparing and contrasting. So we're going to look at two animals today. We're going to look at a duck and a rabbit. Okay, how many of you have ever seen a duck? Hopefully lots of people are raising their hand. How many of you have ever seen a rabbit? Perfect. If we think about ducks and rabbits, they have some of the same characteristics, and they have lots of different characteristics. Okay? So let's just look at these for a second. We're going to think about how all different characteristics of a duck. All right? Now to help you remember what a duck might look like, let's watch this little clip on ducks. Kind of a nice, peaceful pond with our ducks in it. Ooh, I hear them quacking. All right, let's stop there and let's write down some of the things we know about ducks. All right. What's one thing we know about ducks? They have feathers. What else do we know about ducks? They have feathers. Ducks swim. Absolutely. They have webbed feet. Couldn't really see that, but we know that they have the webbing. We know that from Lewis. What else do we know about ducks? Ducks quack. They have a bill. That thing on the end of their mouth. What else do we know about ducks? Ducks lay eggs. Ducks eat plants. What else do we know? They swim. They live in or near ponds. They eat plants. They lay eggs. They quack. They breathe air. Unlike fish. Fish have gills. They don't have. Ducks don't have gills. So we know that ducks have feathers. They swim. They have webbed feet. They quack. They have a bill. They lay eggs. They eat plants. They live in ponds. And they breathe air. All right, so let's go back to rabbits. We're talking about wild rabbits. Let's watch these wild rabbits for a second. Looks like they're playing. I noticed one thing, those rabbits hop. That little guy looks like he's asleep. All right, I'm going to stop there and we're going to go back. What do we know about rabbits? Rabbits have fur. How do rabbits get around? They hop. They have 4 legs. Do rabbits quack? No, they're quiet. They're quiet. They have a mouth. Do rabbits lay eggs like ducks do? Rabbits have babies. They have live babies. What about rabbits? eating. Rabbits eat plants. They live on land. And they do breathe air. So if we look at our characteristics of ducks and rabbits, we can see already that some are the same. They both eat plants. They both breathe air. Some are very different. Rabbits don't. They hop. Ducks swim. Ducks quack. Rabbits are quiet. So we've already identified some things that are the same and different just by looking at these. And what we've actually done is we have compared and contrasted. When we compare, we think about how two things are alike. And then we can answer a question, they both. So if we go back up here to duck and rabbit, we can think about how are a duck and a rabbit the same? They both breathe air. They both eat plants. They're both living creatures. They both have eyes. So lots of ways those two are the same. We've also done some contrasting already. We've thought about how the rabbit and the duck are different. One can swim, but the other hops. We compare those two things and we contrast them to find out how they are alike and how they're different. So now let's take our ideas that we brainstormed. Let's take our comparing and contrasting and let's write a response with paragraphs. What's a paragraph? Remember, a paragraph is just a couple of sentences that talk about the same topic. All the sentences go together. So let's write our comparing paragraph first. So we're going to look at this question. How are rabbit and duck alike? Which one do we want to use first? I like that they're living and they breathe air. I think that's a great way to start. So we're going to write our response. We're going to say, duck and rabbit are alike because they are both living creatures and they both breathe air. If you look at our card, we have they both. This both is a key word when you're comparing. Okay? Words like alike and both are important words when you're comparing two things. Let's go back to our chart. Do we see any other ways that they are alike? I see that they both eat plants. Let's do that one. We'll add one more sentence. They both eat plants. And we could add live outside in the wild. All right, we've got lots of reasons they're alike. They're alike because they are both living creatures. They both breathe air. They both eat plants and live outside in the wild. All right, so let's do our contrasting now. Now we have to think about how are rabbit and duck different. Let's go back and look. I think we can see some things right off the bat. One is swimming, one is in the grass, one has feathers, one has fur. We've got feathers and fur, swimming and hopping, eggs and babies. Got lots of reasons we can put in it. So we're going to ask duck, and rabbit are different because one swims in ponds and one hops on land. Okay. One lays eggs and the other has babies. Rabbit has fur, but duck has feathers. Ducks quack, but rabbits don't make a lot of noise. So let's look at what keywords we're using here to compare. To contrast, when we were comparing, we used alike and both. This time we're using words like, different, but we're still using both, duck and rabbit. We're using words like other, the other, different. Rabbit has fur, but, another but, duck has feathers. Okay? Words like other and different. So if we had an alien come down from wherever, from another galaxy, and they were saying, what's a duck, what's a rabbit? We could show them these pictures. We'd say this is a duck and this is a rabbit. But they might ask us, how is a duck? How are they the same? How are they different? They might ask us to compare and contrast. So let's take a look. We can do that in a list. We can put the characteristics of each. We could also put it in a response or in 2 paragraphs. Our first paragraph talks about how those creatures are alike. The second paragraph talks about how those things are different, how those creatures are different. All right, just a reminder, when comparing and contrasting, you're usually using facts, things that are true all the time. All right. During our lesson this week, we're going to do a little more comparing and contrasting. We're going to use that Venn diagram with the circles. I know we've used that in class. We're going to use that during our lesson to compare and contrast. We'll also use that on a Jamboard so you can move your Post-its or your sticky notes around and participate in that. All right, so in summary, comparing, thinking about how 2 things are alike. Contrasting, thinking about how they're different. Paragraph, a bunch of sentences all about the same topic. All right, my friends, that is your ELA lesson for the week. I will see you Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And Monday we'll work with that Venn diagram on Jamboard. Have a good week. See you soon.